So there doesn't seem to be much to say, really. Everything is already complete. What more could there be? This is already what it is, timeless, free. There's nothing that needs to happen. No outcome, no conclusion, no progression towards anything. No away from, no movement really, no stillness, no thing at all. This is already whatever is happening, without intention, without any real movement towards or away from liberation. Liberation, being all-encompassing, is all there is. There's no one. There's just no one. That's all. No application, no useful information. There just is no one and no thing, being whatever is happening. It's already free. This is already free.
So hope is resistance, even though there's no one hoping or resisting really, it's in the dream. But this resistance to what is, obviously it's resistance to what is, but is it also a resistance to whatever appear in this? Like, I mean, it's also empty, whatever appears is also empty, but I'm thinking, I mean, in the dream it's someone being resistant to, for example, things that happen around you, or you know, trying to control it or something. I don't know what the question is really.
Resistance is an appearance.
Yes.
And there might be a sense that someone is resisting something. Resistance is distance, and there isn't really either. So there's no real distance or separation. Therefore there's no real resistance. Perhaps anger is appearing, but the dream is that someone is having anger and resisting anger. But there is no real resisting anything. Yeah. So resistance is an appearance. It's an illusory appearance. Yeah.
It reminds me old times.
So could one say all appearances are illusionary?
No.
Is there something like a real appearance?
There's just what appears to be happening. It's not really anything. So it's not really illusory, it's not really not illusory, it's not really real or unreal, it's just appearing. It's nothing appearing. The distinction between this appearing and me appearing is that the latter isn't really appearing at all. That's why this so-called me is labelled as an illusion, and what's happening is just simply what's happening. There's no me. There is just simply no me anywhere. So the illusion is that there isn't an illusion.
So one could say nothing is appearing as rain, as anger, as hunger.
Yeah.
And when this is appearing, anger or hunger or rain, is that real or is it part of a dream?
Nothing is real.
Nothing is real. So there is no reality?
No.
Whatsoever, no reality?
No, not really.
I think it was Tony who used the term natural reality.
Okay. So there's natural this, or reality. It doesn't matter if you call it reality or not. It doesn't make any difference. Nothing is real. Whether you call it natural reality or this or nothing, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Yes, there are so many concepts. Oh.
Mm.
I'm not addicted anymore. For a while.
Yeah, we'll see.
Alexis, is it possible to have the story of the conversation with your dad, or is it too confidential here?
We can chat about that, yeah.
Mm.
What would you like to know?
Whatever you want to share of that moment.
Okay, well, so for a long time my dad was very much atheist, and in the last few years, somehow or other, he got into yoga and meditation, some time after I did. Perhaps he's seen the way in which Alexis changed, seen the way the body became maybe a bit more composed and responded differently to situations when there was Buddhism and meditation and yoga and all that stuff happening. I think he felt like that was rubbing off on him a little bit, because our relationship totally changed, it seemed. And so, you know, he was going through different things at the time, and he got into yoga, as in asana, and meditation, and he took more of an interest in different things and different ways of looking at life and reality. And then he discovered Eckhart Tolle, and he started reading The Power of Now and stuff like that. He was also listening to different people talk about different things, taking more of a agnostic approach, it seemed, to life. And I was into that for a long time, as you probably know, and then I discovered Tony, and we had a chat about that earlier this year, maybe in, I don't know when it was, April or something, and I was saying that there's no free will, and almost as soon as I said that, the conversation almost ended straight away. He wasn't really up for exploring that anymore, and then that was pretty much the end of it. And then just a few weeks ago, he helped me move into this flat, and somehow or other he started, I think he asked me, because he knows that I've been to California and New York and Berlin, and that I'm going to Amsterdam and Budapest and Brussels and that. And so I think that was, you know, he was curious somehow. You're going to all these places, what are you doing there, what are you sharing? And so he seemed to initiate a conversation about it. And for the first time he listened, or at least he was listening to some extent, and I was saying that, well, you know, according to quantum mechanics and physics and a lot of sciences, there is essentially nothing. There's essentially just emptiness. Everything is empty. So it's not like that's some sort of new or profound discovery that non-duality is saying. I mean, even most Buddhist traditions, if not all of them, say that all there is emptiness, which is thousands of years old, apparently. Not that that matters, but, you know, I was coming at it from that sort of angle to begin with, because I thought, you know, well, you can't really argue with that unless you're sort of dogmatically religious, and even then, you know, you haven't got many straws to fall back on. Whether you call it God or consciousness or energy or nothing, it doesn't really matter, obviously. Anyway, we were talking about that, and I was saying that, well, you know, this centre, we were having a coffee at a cafe after I moved in, and I was saying this centre that feels itself to be real it is actually not real. It's not. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. And he was saying, well, you know, according to Eckhart Tolle, you know, if I, you know, just observe my thoughts and my memories, I was like, Dad, I don't want to sound patronising, but I've been there and I've done that plenty. I've been around and I've you know, been into these teachers for a long time, so you don't need to tell me about that. I get it. Like, I don't want to cut you off, but I get it. And you know, I was saying, yeah, the power of now, being aware, all this and that, yes, being mindful, slowing down, blah blah blah. But there's no one doing that. There is actually no one doing that. There's no centre, there's no real volition. The thoughts that pop up and say, I'm choosing, have not got a driver behind them, picking through thoughts and choosing to navigate and drive and influence body and mind in this direction or that direction. That is not a reality. It's not concrete at all. There's no substance to it. There's no one behind any of that. It's a phantom. It's empty. You know, we talked about that. He was like, really thinking about it. And then even when we were walking back from the cafe, he carried it on, which is different, apparently. And he was like, I can't accept this. I can't. He was battling with it. He was like, I'm not happy with the way things are. I'm not happy with the way the world is. I'm not happy with the way these other people are that I relate to. So I feel like I need to feel like I am in control because all of that matters to me. And I was like, I get it. Yeah. That's what you're describing is the contracted, seeking, resistant energy of being a person. What you're describing there is that experience, which is illusory, and nothing and no one is actually inside of that. And what it's longing for is the end of that separation experience, yet it can never initiate the absence of that, because how is it going to get outside of its own illusory bubble? It's not, and it's not a problem actually. It's not an existential predicament that needs to be solved, figured out, changed, cured, or ended. It's just energy appearing as an illusory sense of being here, a position. And there is no one in that. And whether an agreement or a disagreement happens is out of anyone's control, and it doesn't need to be agreed with or disagreed with, because what would that change? Who would that benefit? It's already complete and free. And I mentioned Tony as well and said it just ended, this whole seeking energy of trying to become someone or something, or impress or improve, or find the ultimate object of gratification. And I also acknowledge that is total story-based unreality. And you know, and then that was it. And perhaps another conversation happens, maybe not. It doesn't really matter either way. But yeah, there was a hearing of it to some extent. And my brother's been listening to it as well. Actually, he came to a few of the meetings and he's listened to some of it. Yeah, he wants to accept it, but at the same time he can't, and there's obviously no driver to accept or to resist. But he wants to get it, and it's seemingly reoccurringly, although timelessly, pointed out there's no it to get. Yeah. So it's quite amusing and enjoyable having these conversations and seeing what happens. But you know, there's just absolutely no desire for anyone to get it, or believe it, or disbelieve, or agree, because there is no it to be navigated. So whatever response happens is absolute freedom. Whether people, you know, watch this and say, well, what a load of nonsense that is, or wow, this is wonderful, it makes no difference, because it just literally does not matter. There's no standpoint to be offended, defended, or you know, resonated with. I mean, many people seem to come across this and want others to believe it or something. People hear this message, the so-called message, as though it's a thing, which it isn't, and they get into it and they resonate with it and they feel it to be the truth, and then they get annoyed when they tell other people and no one else around them seems to get it or believe it or agree with it. It's like, but why does that matter? Why does any of that matter? It literally makes no difference. Who cares if people feel like they have free will or not? It literally makes no difference. It doesn't matter at all. If already no one has free will, why does anyone need to believe that they have free will or not? It's irrelevant. So there was a little story, or a big story, that filled up some time. Timeless time.
Thank you.
That all has no value whatsoever.
And did your body went through changings? Whatever changing means, your body in the story of your body and in the process of shifting, does your body notice differences?
What kind of differences?
I mean, relaxation or whatever.
Well, obviously, in order to talk about that, it goes into dualistic language, but that's fine. There are illusory differences, and the illusory differences is that there's just no sense that anyone is doing anything. That's quite simple. There's just no sense that anyone is saying anything, thinking anything, or doing anything. There's just what's happening. So that doesn't seem to be any sort of grand revelation. It's just a falling away of a centered sense of a driver that never really was happening. So that's a difference, but there's no one to notice that, which is why it can't really be explained. It's the end of the noticer. It's the end of the sense of someone noticing this and that. But because that's being said, it would seem like body kind of noticed it, but it didn't really. It's like indescribable. And yeah, you know, certain things fell away, like being a vegetarian, that fell away. Being a sober person for 9 years, that fell away. Having a glass of wine happens, you know. Being anything or anyone has just fallen away. Any sense of being a trans person has fallen away. I mean, there's still preferences of doing certain things and wearing certain clothes, but none of it has any value. There's no sense of identity. Yeah, and the body is just seemingly a little bit more, or a lot more, who knows, can't really compare, to be honest, but more at ease with the way things are, because there is no one being with the way things are. There just is the way things are, and that's all, obviously nothing. So once upon a dream, there was a sense that someone was, with their control, driving the body towards a destination that they thought it was called enlightenment, Buddhahood, personal enlightenment. And that was exposed as dream stuff, and the enlightenment, unconditional freedom, is everything. It's not limited. Therefore, it's not anywhere else other than what's happening. Yeah. And it's just so obvious that nothing can bring that about because it's already everything. And the sense of looking is that too, it's everything. But it's never finding everything because it is everything appearing as looking. So it just it's like the snake trying to swallow its own tail, and there's just, even though there's no controller in that, it just stops trying to eat its own tail. And then there's no tail left, there's no mouth left, there's no identity, there's no circle, there's just nothing left, which was already the case.
and your words appear from nowhere. From nowhere and no one. No one is okay, but even nowhere, I mean, we cannot find some kind of meta-subjectivity.
No, because where would that be found? There's nowhere, yeah. There's no sense of where.
Yeah.
Where is reduced to a concept. Once upon a dream it was felt as a reality. Now just simply, not even now, obviously time too is just reduced to a concept. It seemed to be felt. It's impossible to talk about because even the word "it seemed" suggests past, but it seemed to feel like a reality. Like there was a real now and a real outside of now, and a real here and a real over there where Alessandro is and Ulrich is and Elizabeth and the shrine. It's like it feels like everywhere else is a somewhere else, and that's where I'm not. I'm here, and everything else is over there. That's a felt sense, and there's just no sense of that. It's collapsed. Yeah.
Seems like the eye as a filter, apparent filter, reduces the what-isness, the totality, in locations, identity, positions. It's like a filter. Now I was thinking, and then I felt that my thoughts arrived from no place, that I was thought in a way. And so then there is a kind of filter to try to grasp this mysterious wave that we call thoughts, trying to give a name to the voices, to what appears as language or words or translations. So in the illusion, this filter blocks the totality of reality and reality.
Which is totality.
Which is totality.
It's totality seeming to try to get out of totality. It's like a thought tries to step outside of itself to view another possibility. So thinking never leads anywhere because there is nowhere to get to, there's nowhere to remain, to stay, to go. There's just thoughts immediately appearing, and thoughts may seem to try to get somewhere else, to escape from themselves, or, I mean, obviously they're not really doing that, but that's what they seem to be like when there seems to feel an internal dialogue. Thoughts seem to be talking to each other and trying to get somewhere, trying to navigate, trying to move. And it all perhaps seems like it's three-dimensional or fourth-dimensional or however many dimensional.
They seem to look for their own source. It's like, where do I come from? Like if the thought has this need, this drive to find from where it comes from itself.
Yeah. And you might feel like all of that originates from awareness. But there is no real center called awareness where everything grows from, like the roots of a tree.
Yeah.
Nothing has any root or origin. There's just, at the center of all things is nothing, and then there's just no center. All there is nothing. So thoughts seem to come from nothing then, And then it's revealed that thoughts don't just come from nothing, they are nothing. No distance, no separation between thoughts and nothing, no thing left at all.
Yeah, because awareness would be another phantom in a machine, would be the regressus ad infinitum, as all the philosophers in Rome said. You have to go a step back. You never arrive to the bottom stone.
No.
So it seems really unreal, the awareness as concept. Now it's clear that it's a concept awareness. You have to assume that there is this ultra mega power that sees everything.
Yeah. Which would totally depend on separation being a fundamental reality. That there's a real consciousness, and there has to be a real something else for consciousness to be conscious of. If it's conscious of itself, then it has to somehow be separate from itself to be conscious of itself. There is no separation, really. It just is nothing appearing and being immediately an illusion of distance. But it's just nothing. It's not real. There's no real distance. There's no real separation. There's no real stepping out, moving from, towards, away from. It's like there just is distancelessness, which is totally beyond dimension and therefore boundary, and can seem to appear as distance, but not really.
So it is not totally correct to say the illusion, because the illusion is the same stuff is done by the same stuff. It's only one thing. So illusion is a kind of a pointer for, but it doesn't exist, the illusion.
No, nothing exists.
Yeah.
And illusion seems to be nothing pretending to be not nothing.
In that sense, illusion.
Yeah. And it's amazing, because the illusion, although the word illusion suggests unreal, and that's, yes, what it means, it's so convincing to nothing that it's so real and solid. It's just amazing, unfathomable, that the illusion could seem to be more real than anything else. And yet the illusion is that everything is real, and that is totally unreal. It's just doesn't make sense. It's totally paradoxical.
It's like Fata Morgana when you're in the desert. So you're sure there is water, but there is no water, and but you're quite sure there is water, and you walk to that place where it seems to have water, and you walk and you never find water.
No. But for that dream experience, it has to believe that there is water. Yeah. For the dehydrated, thirsty seeker needs to believe that it's going to find water. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, look, it found it. Here it is. It was here all along. the story of where they're lost in the mountains, and they find some cabin in the woods or something, and they knock on the person's door and say, "We're trying to get to this place, we're lost, will you help us?" And then the person answers the door and says, "Well, I wouldn't start here." "I wouldn't start here. What are you doing here for?" "You're looking for water in the desert. What are you looking for water in the desert for?" You're in the wrong place.
It's very funny to think that in the Sikkim everybody wants to become, Ramana, Yogananda, Babaji, some very Buddhist old masters, and no one want to become you or Tony or Jim.
Yeah, this is surely not desirable. No,
absolutely undesirable.
Yeah. I mean, it's so ridiculously unspecial, isn't it? It's so ridiculously unordinary. Well, no, it is ordinary. That's what I mean. It's ordinary. It's simple. It's nothing special or fancy. It's just this, what's happening. Yeah.
So, he would be the water in this case, no? Because there is no water, we imagine that there is water, but at the end nobody wants to drink.
There's nothing to drink.
There's nothing to drink, of course. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going in a place where I'm trying to become nobody. I'm trying to disappear there.
Oh yeah, how's that going for you? Yeah.
And where is this place? Okay, 1,000 kilometers from here, and you have to pay the flight and whatever. Well, why? Because I want to disappear.
Yeah.
No, to be sincere, I don't want to disappear. Because if I want to disappear, one could accept it. But I don't want to disappear. Still, I go where it seems that I want to disappear.
Yeah.
It's an appearance, wanting to disappear.
It's an appearance.
So there's something that wants to come out. And it's a story in a way. So, sorry if I get emotional, but it just feels like my whole life there's been this deep sadness. And I don't know, obviously it's just coming from nowhere, and it's for no one. But sometimes I wonder, where does it come from? I don't know. It just feels very overwhelming sometimes, and then it passes. I kind of always wonder that, because it's obviously has no source in a way. No, it's just whatever is appearing.
Yeah, nothing has any source, because all there is nothing, being sadness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to say it.
Maybe it's ridiculous, but can one say nothing is appearing or also appearing as something that does not accept to be nothing?
It's nothing appearing as resistance, in other words, in simpler words.
Right, yes.
Nothing appearing as this, saying, this isn't nothing. That's nothing appearing as, this isn't nothing.
Yes, okay. So it's, yes, not accepting means resistance, yes.
Yeah.
So nothing is appearing.
The antonym to acceptance is resistance.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And,
so
and there's not really either. Obviously, there's not really anyone or anything that accepts what's happening, because what's happening is already what's happening. And resistance too is what's happening. So in a way, that's totally accepted as well by no one. It just is what's happening too, which is nothing appearing as resistance, nothing appearing as solidity, substantiality, fixedness, reality, direction, time, space, but all of it is nothing and not real at all.
If there was this feeling or thought, yes, nothing is appearing as something, it doesn't accept to be nothing.
Yeah, but it's not really.
Yes, you said, yeah, nothing is real, yes.
Yeah. And there's not really a something that's standing outside of nothing, pointing at it, saying that's not real either. There is only nothing. This is all nothing appearing as this. It's not some black empty void. It's not some massively open space where there's just total nothingness of any qualities. All there is nothing. All there is nothing. It's everything.
I still have an hope that aliens will land on Earth just to say, you're wrong. Another very galactic civilization say, no, Alexis, Tony, Andreas, come here. We are from a very, very, very old civilization. You are wrong. Yeah. You exist. You are real.
Well, if that's what you hope for, what on earth are you doing here?
That's the point. That's the point. I want to come back to the psychiatrist and ask for my behavior. So.
Yeah.
But if the aliens came, I wouldn't come here anymore for sure. I will wait them, please. Tell us that we are real.
Yeah.
Bring us to Miami Beach in Mars or whatever. I'm ready to move there.
You can hear how the illusory position so desperately seems to want to remain as position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yet nothing in that, nothing doing that, nothing with it, nothing outside or inside of that, just illusory position, really wanting to hold on and remain firmly attached in the dream of feeling separate and real and solid. And any other apparent perspective that seems to be distant from me, that confirms that as a reality, seems to give the sense of security and safety and stability. And many of those people would perhaps seem to do that. Them too being in that sense of position, which is nothing wrong or right. And it perhaps comes to this and subtly or grossly looks for that validation that it's going to remain firmly established in that position, the sense of concentrated energy being here, being limited, being finite, separate, real, local. And there's no acknowledgement that that is any reality whatsoever. And so perhaps in that experience, albeit illusory, feels threatened, feels at risk somehow, risk of dissolving into nothingness and is already nothingness, pretending to be something. And what might also seem to be infuriating is that there's no acknowledgement that that illusory dissolution even needs to happen, that it's already just freedom. That too is totally blasphemous and unacceptable as far as that dream experience seems to be concerned. Leaves it naked, raw, exposed, humiliated, because there's nothing left. And there was nothing ever in the first place.
I'm wondering if people who consider themselves happy come to these meetings. I don't think so.
Well, but is there really anyone that considers themselves to be happy?
Yeah.
But there's no one really doing that.
Yes.
And yeah, there will be perhaps in a world that's not real, people who seem to be quite okay with immersed in the experience of feeling like they are a someone and that they do have control, and that they're going to this place and that place, and what's wrong with that? It's obviously nothing's wrong with that. It's just there is no one in that. There's no one believing that they have free will. So yeah, it doesn't matter. That's why there's just no sense that this needs to be going around telling anyone about this, really. In that sense, there's no need to convince, parents, siblings, friends.
Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah, because it's already it's already wholeness.
Because I found just desperate people coming in to hear this message.
Not only.
Consciously desperate. I mean, consciously in the sense that they think and they say that they have done everything for dissolving the pain.
Yeah, many of that kind do come and can come and will come. But not everyone coming to meetings is in that total, despair and hope, and not real despair, but it's actually hope-filled and resistant to what it is and looking for this, looking for that. I mean, some people come to meetings who aren't even experiencing separation, because there's just an enjoyment. There's not always an intention to get something out of the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Probably for the first time, in a so clear manner, the sense of I has been very relaxed by the idea that is not in control, even if I don't perceive this, but I perceive the relaxing, a deep relaxing, to know that I'm not in control. Once I had a lot of problems to accept just the idea not to be in control, not to have free will and choice. In this time, for, whatever reason, there's a kind of, okay, I'm not in control. And so, thank you, because I think is a result of this non-happening, that made this change. Even if my mind ran very quickly, there is a deep relaxation that I'm not in control, that whatever I think or whatever I sense, whatever I'm doing, it doesn't come from my choice. And it's okay the way it is. Once I had a very strict rope, the feeling of strict rope around me about to be honest, ethical, correct, straight, and to choose properly with adequacy for every person, every situation, and to blame myself when I was not at the level I was expected to be. And there is a kind of discharge of that physically.
Yeah.
The mind is not fighting the way it has done, usually, with this lack of control. Despite what I think that I am doing, what I'm choosing, or what I imagine it to be. I want to say thank you for this non-happening. I was very tense before, I told you. I was very desperate and I could empty all my thoughts in these 2 days and a half. And 45 break, minus 45. And I feel it's okay.
Yeah.
That is the way you describe. And it doesn't matter if I agree or disagree, and when I do it, and what I say when I feel to be in a disagreement. And that's something for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
So nothing's happening, there's no time or space, just immediacy and whatever seems to be appearing. And in this appearance, which is not real, but an appearance, can it be an apparent process or progress, or not progress, but process? I mean, after being exposed to the so-called message, even though it's all illusory and it doesn't really... Is that possible, or is it just... Because there is really no time and space, so it can't really be...
Exactly.
A process, I mean...
the process of being and being exists only within the dream.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's not...
So it doesn't really matter what... I mean, nothing matters, obviously, so...
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there seems to be like subtle kind of shifts, if you like, or like something feels like it's dropping away or whatever. Like even you don't really even notice it before.
Yeah.
A period of time can go, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm just not whatever it is. Seems to be happening, but. That's just what seems to be happening, and just appearing as that.
Yeah. Yeah. And when there's no left relating from a current state to a previous state to a future state to any state, no state, there's just nothing left. There's no absence or presence or process.
Yeah.
No real momentum, no real anything. Just simply what's appearing, which always and never is what is. Already freedom. And all that's happening is just already free. Yeah, not really going anywhere, not really intention-based, not really progressing or processing or dissolving or whatever else. So the sense of even process slowing down is still process, or speeding up, the sense of a glimpse happening and then I'm back. It's all just part of that illusion that's not really going anywhere. So there is only liberation. That's all. All there is liberation. Liberation is all there is. Nothing isn't liberation. And yet all there is nothing. All there is nothing, and everything, and liberation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.